Welcome to Model Horse Tack School. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to work on the Spanish chair style side saddle. So here's a picture of one. We're not doing back here or the bridle today. So what we will deal with is you have your planchette and your drape and then your seat. Okay, so if you saw my other video on the rail style or the European style side saddle, then half of this is going to be really easy. It's the upper part that's different. The bottom is the same. So if you notice, you have these really good supports, very padded, and then the back rail. Okay, and that's actually straight. It looks funny here. It looks like it's curved, but it's actually straight. That's fine if it curves, no big deal. And this one here was from wedding ceremony, so it was Spanish cotillion or Catalan bridle saddle. All right, so let's take a look at the pattern. Okay, now this one here we did in the previous video, so we're not doing that. This is the difference. Okay, so you have your supports in aluminum, your side panels and your back panel. These are all in finished leather. So any type of embroidery or painting you want to do, I would get that done before. And then you have your suede pieces, the side covers and the back cover. Hardest part is getting this back cover to fit around all the padding. Okay, so these are pieces common to both types. So if you're going to do the Spanish or the rail style, they're common to both. So you have your finished leather, your drape, whether you want to do the fancy or you want to do the standard. So this is finished, whatever you want to make it out of. Then you have this 2 3-ounce leather. This is all support pieces, so you need that thickness to support the whole thing. This piece here will fit right in there, so if you want to just use that piece, that'll help. Your planchette could be either type, either can be the curvy one or it can just be a square. And then this is for the seat. So that's your seat, and then that's your planchette cover, and I would do those in suede or fabric. You can do either. Okay, and then we have the padding. Okay, so for the Spanish style, you've got all of this padding. This is for your back, this is for your sides. And then for both styles, you have your seat padding. So these are all whatever padding. And then your saddle blanket. So your saddle blanket kind of becomes like a triangle, and it helps to lift up the sides of the saddle. Okay. All right. So now you have your rigging and your bridle halter. Now I will do the bridle halter and rigging in 2 other different videos. Your cinches, these are pretty much standard cinches, so that's not that big a deal, but you need your cinches front and rear, and you need your cinch lining. You do need your billet straps. All right, so those are the things we're going to use. I recommend 2 3-ounce for all of these because they are structural. Okay, we got all the pieces. Now I'm making this one out of a tapestry that I created on my embroidery machine. So I have suede for the seat and the sides, but this is actually the rest of it is fabric. It's a nice wool. Back when I used to make clothes, I made myself some wool pants, and that's the fabric. Now we're just trying to sort this stuff out. So sorting my pieces, like these are last, so we can probably just put those back in the bag. And there's my planchette, backrest, side pieces, side pieces. All right, rigging. I need to skive this. I made this out of really crappy leather, so that'll be good. You will see that this is very similar to the other one. And I want to take all this paper off first. Okay, we're going to start with the seat. That's the cover and the padding. And then you want your rigging. You got your seat support, your seat base. Okay, when we put this on, it goes this way. See, plenty of room on both sides. That way, you're not going to have enough room. So you want to do it this way. And we want to center it. Now I used flawed leather for this, so it won't be seen. So see how it's flawed? Right there. That's fine. Nobody's going to see it. All right, and then both sides. Right on the edge. Now you don't want to use too much because it'll actually take away the fluffing on your padding. So we really just need enough to hold it in place until we get the suede on, or the seat, whatever you wanted to use for the seat. I'm using suede in this case. Okay. And then we want this piece right in the center. Which will make sense when it does this. See how when it goes this way, there's it's flatter there and it's more padded there. Okay, your seat piece goes on this way. And what we want to do is glue to the lip here. It's very important we get a sharp edge right there. Get it centered, and then use your fingernails to pull it tight and work it right in there. That's where your drape is going to go, so that should be as clean as you can make it. I like this white glue because it gives me time to work it. Now you're working with suede, so be very careful with the glue. Don't use too much. A little goes a long way. Once I got those worked, I'm just going to go ahead and fold these under just to secure them. You'll see that my glue bottle has a very small hole in the tip, and then that way I can take it directly from the bottle. Alrighty, there we go. Now we're going to work these one side at a time. And we're really gluing it to the side. I'm going to put some down here because it'll pick up that glue as I press it into place. So I'm going to put it down and then I'm going to push it back. Okay. And we want to try and make these, in this case they're going to work pretty good square. What I need is a nice open path here. So yeah, that's going to be a problem. So I've got to work that around. Sorry, black doesn't show up really well. I should have picked another color, but I really wanted to do black for this particular one. I've already done a ton of red ones. All right, this side. And then some right on that piece of leather, right on that seat support. And see how when I fold this over and I go to push it, I'm going to pick up all of that glue, or at least a good bit of it. And I really want to kind of round this corner here so that your drape fits in there. And you want it tight, but you want to kind of even push it back so that you got plenty of room along here for your drape. Because it's not just your drape, you're also putting your the sides of your seat there, and they're going to be padded. Okay, so there you go. Now this is your rigging strap, and what I did is I glued 4 10mm rings. You can use 9 or 8 if you want, and then that's a 6mm, just like that. And now I'm going to put glue right down the center because I just want to attach it. I want to be able to move these flaps to be able to rig it up. Now, that's your front, and that's your front. So we want it, so your ring is going to hang over a little bit. And you want to center it as much as possible. Right down that center line if you can. Yeah, black likes to pick up all sorts of things. So there you go, that's your seat base. So we're gonna do the sides now. I made this, this is a wool fabric with an embroidery pattern on it. I use my embroidery machine to do that. So you can use fabric embroidered if you want. These are suede. And then my side supports, and then I have 4 of these padding pieces. Okay, we're going to take our side support here, and we're going to glue 2 of the paddings on it. I already glued those together, so get them centered like that. And then we're going to down here, just a little bit in here to keep it in place. And then we're going to match down here. Remember, when working with suede, any glue on your fingers must immediately be removed. All right, and then we're going to glue this top. I'm using the clamps because it doesn't hold to the metal like it does to other leather. Alright, so this one was done. Okay, so I want a clean diagonal finish there, and you could clip this, take out that square. I'll show you that. So you could take out this square. You need really good tip snipping scissors though. These are nose hair scissors, and no, I've never used them to cut my nose hairs. So you can take that out. And then fold this over. And what I should really do is go ahead and get rid of this too. So I get rid of that bulk. Kind of round that a little bit. The other way to do it, because there's always more than one way. To go over nice and tight. And then go ahead and bring that to a point. kind of push in the corner a little bit so you get a nice rounded corner. And then cut that off. So, there's 2 ways of doing that. Whichever way is easier for you. So go ahead and do that diagonal corner trick. Just more noises for you guys to enjoy all the living creatures in my office. You can hear the fan from my banana tree, you can hear my doves, and now you can hear my kittens. And that's my dog. Well, I think I have the entire zoo covered here. Oh, chickens are outside. Sorry, they're not allowed in. Yeah, I know this tacky glue is great. The suede sticks to itself really well. And then eventually it will mold to that aluminum. Oops. There you go. Next step is to take whatever your sides are, and we're going to go ahead and glue those. Now, this is the first time I've actually used this embroidery pattern. That seems like thick there. And I did have to edge coat because I only have white for the stabilizer. I'm going to get a good amount of glue there. Now, the glue sets quickly. It actually takes 24 hours to dry. So it's another cool thing about this glue is you have time, if you have to remove it and redo it. But that also means that I should keep it clamped. Within an hour, it'll be ready for some rough handling, but I want to give it at least, 10-15 minutes to dry enough that I'm not worried about it moving. And I'll have to fix that on the pattern. It's just a lot of bulk there. That's on the embroidery pattern though, not the saddle pattern. And make sure we get our corners really good. All right, so we'll go ahead and let those dry. Now we're going to work on the back. So there's a little bit, about a quarter of an inch or so down here that sticks out. So we're going to hold it by that, and then I'll put glue like that. And we want this centered. And we'll go ahead and put the other piece on top. Now this is going to be the hardest part coming up. I should probably wait till I have the piece. Okay. Now we need to center it on here with that little tail hanging over. Okay, we'll do the top first. Bring that over. Okay, set that aside for now because I need to take those clamps off to work that suede. Okay, that should be good enough. Now, I'm going to make a snip to the corner. Leave yourself a little bit though, don't snip it too deep. Because when we turn this, we want to make sure we're covering inside there. See? So I'm going to do these two first. There's absolutely no rush on this piece. And I'm going to try and match them, only so I don't pull this too tight on that side. Now we're going to pull this up. We want to be tight in there. So, like I said, this is the hard part right here. If you can get this piece to look good, then you've pretty much mastered the pattern. Now check from the front. Can you see it? Can you see any stuffing? I mean, you're going to put this piece over it, so that should help. That's coming off. So let's see if I can get these to kiss. There we go. And we'll see if we can get these two to kiss. And by kissing, I mean the edges together. That just will help with the bond. I will tell you it's easier to work with the leather than the fabric. I've already noticed that. Okay, we're just going to let that sit for a little bit to set up. Our next thing is to kind of shape these. So we want this top to roll just a little bit. Now I'm using my toothless platypus pliers here so I can get that roll. See how that it's rolled outward? And then right below it, I'm going to pull it just a little bit more so I get an outward roll like that. So again, I'm going to take the top and kind of pull it a little bit till I get that roll, and then just I can. Sometimes you use the pliers, you're less likely to do what I just did, and that's create a crease or a bump in the fabric. And then yeah, so there's my outward roll. Try to make them look symmetrical. That's an issue. I have to get a little. When you want live show quality work, you need to fix the details as you see them. Don't think you'll remember and fix them later. Fix them now. Okay, so these are symmetrical. You can pick which side goes on which side. The trick is you have to bend as you glue them into place. Okay, and if you notice, it's only this bottom area that doesn't have padding is where my glue is going to go, as well as under here. So I want it to stick there, and then right along the edge here. Being careful not to go too far up. because it's suede. We love suede, but it's picky on how you work with it. So we want to center it. See how those rails on the side here, they just kind of disappear. And now we'll do the other side the same way. Make sure I get it on the bottom here because I want this to stick. And because there's so many gaps in there, I'm going to put plenty so it can get squeezed right in there. And then just on the edge here. Yeah, this is a lot of glue for suede. If we do this right though, I won't have too much squeeze out. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull it down this way, push it in there, and now we need to center it. Sometimes that means eyeballing it from the other side. Got a little bit of squeeze out, not too bad. Squeeze out means you have plenty of glue. Carpenters say if you're not, when they're doing woodworking, if you're not squeezing out the glue, then you didn't put in enough glue. So don't feel bad if it squeezes out. And don't try and fix it now. Let it set up. When it's liquidy, it'll just smear right into the suede. Okay, I'm just checking for center. Okay, I'm thinking at this point I might want to put a rubber band on this. The cats like to run off with my rubber bands, so let's see. There we go. That makes it easier. So do that. Okay, so while things are drying, I'm going to go ahead and get out these pieces for the saddle blanket. The saddle blanket is part of, it's glued to, attached to the bottom, okay? So we want to make sure we have this the correct way. So if it's incorrect, you're going to have extra over the edges. The correct way is to, they're exactly the same length, okay? Now, we're going to try and make this more like a stair stepper, stairs, so not exactly flush with the edge, just a little ways back. You can use felt. This is just leftover batting I had from a quilt. I'm kind of trying to use up some stuff that just, it's little pieces. And so this is perfect for that. And then the next ones we're gonna just sort of a little bit back, just a little bit back like that. And the glue is just really to hold it in place. And now we're going to take this, it should be completely square, so it doesn't matter which way you do it. We're going to put the glue right in the center here. And this is going to be more than to just secure it, so I want it all the way around the line. So we're going to fold this in half, and then we're going to center it. So same amount on either side, okay? And I find that's the easiest way to do it. Then we're going to glue these sides here, and we're going to glue it to itself. So it's like that. So you have a nice smooth roll there. And I don't want to compress it. I actually want the padding. So I'm not compressing anything. I'm just rolling this in there. See? Just roll it. And then we're going to make those little corners like that. And because there's no resistance really, just the fabric itself resisting, it should come together pretty easy. You don't need clamps or anything. So we're just going to put that aside and let it dry. All right. Now I have to take this off, which is a bummer. I have to take that off to put this on. Okay, you have to decide if you want this to be where she sits on the left or the right with her legs going over. Either way was fine. There was no rules back then about it, right? But some people would freak out if she's sitting in the wrong direction, like, whoa. Some of these were made where they could move it. So you would have this, and then this would be removable. So it'd be like buckled on or something in there. And then you could put it on the other side, and then that would help the horse. As well as the woman, you know, she probably would like to, it didn't matter if she's sitting in a chair. But anyways, it definitely helped the horse to be able to move it. So if you wanted to add buckles and make it movable, you could. Now we do need to bend this support down. I'm not going to make it movable. And because I want as few questions as possible on an entry, because there's just more documentation, I'm going to put it on this side so that her legs go over this side. Now this is your front and that is your back. Just keep that in mind. This is front, that little ring there is back. So if I put it on this way, her legs will hang over that way. Okay. Now, love that batting. This can be pushed out a little bit. In fact, it needs to be pushed out a little bit. And I always dry fit. You guys know me in dry fitting. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing before I mess it up. Okay. Now we need for this to be centered here. And it'll probably go like that, because we want the drape to cover up that little piece of aluminum. If you want, you can cut it off. It doesn't really have to be there. I just find it helps to stabilize that piece. And so we'll figure out where center is. And we can push these arms out. And so we're gluing the inside of the arm to the outside side. That makes sense. Okay, so That's all we have for securing it. That's why just that little bit of aluminum is going to help. There's my forward. Make sure I have my center here. And then right along this area right here, just like right on that little tip. And this bottom one keeps moving on me. Okay, I'm going to stop messing with that. I'm going to put that aside. Now we still have these pieces. If you're going to make it so it can drop from either side, however you want to do that, you'll need to put D-ring straps on both of these. Okay, so I've got 2 buckles, 2 D-rings. I need to pick which one's going to be front. They're identical, so it doesn't matter. I went ahead and got my pattern piece here because we need to know where am I going to glue those D's. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue there, put some glue there. Now these D's hang over the edge like that. It's important. They hang over the edge. Now I used 4mm jump rings. Really should be gold or brass, but I don't have any gold, so I have to go with my silver. Okay, well those D's are drying. We're going to go ahead and work on the planchette. So I think I'm going to take a little bit off. Now again, this is my embroidery, so it may not be exact to the pattern you have. Now, if you want to put any type of decorations hanging off of here, such as fringe, now would be a good time to put your fringe on. Okay, so I want fringe around the edge. I don't really have any fringe. I used to have a yarn that would fringe for me, but not anymore. So we're going to make some fringe. This is color matched best I can. These pieces are about 1/2 inch, and it's only going to be, I don't know, a strand or 2 that just happens to be a leftovers from somebody's project because I inherited that. Okay, so you glue it so it's centered. And then we're going to glue it to the side. And we also want to get those corners, so we're going to so see how that corner is. I'll go ahead and do. And last one. Okay, so now, I know it's not perfect, but that looks pretty good. We need to poke holes. Now I've already made this smaller, so I know this piece isn't going to help me. What I need, I'm going to use my narrower blade. This is an 11. So, in each corner, and with the blade you want it straight up, okay? Don't do it at an angle, you need straight up. And the slit is only big enough for 1/16 inch leather lace. Don't want it too close to the corner. And it needs to go all the way through whatever suede or leather, or in this case fabric, that's being used on the other side. Okay, in the previous video we measured this at, in case that's bugging you, 5 1/4. So we'll go with that. 5 inches would be fine. I'm going with 5 1/4. We're not going to remeasure. Sad day when you finish off a Rio Rondo spool of 16th inch leather lace, because they don't sell it by the spool anymore. Okay, so I'm going to go from the back, make my hole. This isn't all, but it's not very sharp, but it's perfect for this. I'm going to put this to a point so it'll be easier to thread through. Almost as quickly as I made the hole, I'm going to feed this through. Yes, I've already skived it. Other side, make your hole. Feed it through. this. Okay, now you can kind of massage it and that hole will close up. Oh, there you go. Okay, buckles are on the correct side. The right side of the leather lace is facing outwards, and we're going to put that aside. We're almost there. All right. These are the pieces that we have left, and we need to put them all together. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this. There we go. Pretty. And then we can glue that right here in the center down the spine of the saddle, which would also be down the spine of the horse. And I'm going to glue it this way because it sure does look prettier. All right, now the drape that has the rings is going to go on the open side, and it should fit right in that little crease, nice and tight. But because we're working with suede, I'm going to put it right here, not in the crease. All right, and then I'm only going to go halfway on this side and halfway on this side. And so we're going to take this and we're going to push it into place so it brings some glue with it. And then make sure we get it tight enough. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing over here. We need to make sure we cover up that little piece of aluminum, but I'm going to go ahead and put my glue down here, not in the crease. And we put it on the glue, and then we can push it. Thought we could push it forward, but that was misbehaving. So let's go ahead, and this was not sitting right. Let's push that in. I need to push this in further so I cover that aluminum. That's the important part right there. See how it's covered? So I said, if you want to take that aluminum off, you certainly can. Now, I recommend watching the rail style for other options on what to do with these sides here. Now I'm going to let mine overlap like that. In the other one I showed you how to kind of stitch the sides together. But again, I'm doing something a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and overlap them instead of trying to stitch the sides together. I'm not entirely pleased with this. Over here. And because I'm going to overlap, I'll put some glue right there. Okay. Now technically the buckles could go either way, but I want the straps to fall down this way. So I'm going to put them in this way. I think I would like to make the buckles end up in the same place, approximately. And just so that it's pretty, I'm going to go ahead and just tack these down with a little glue. I don't have a lot of gravity working on the straps, and so I'm going to have to play a little bit with reality, and I'm just going to tack those down. If later on I have to move or lengthen, I can do that. But this way, they're prettied up. All right, let's see. Here we go. Last step, we need to put on our little keepers, or little billets here. And you don't really need to watch this, but you're going to put a billet, just fold it over and glue it down on all four of the big rings here. That is your chair style. After it's, set up a bit, I can start playing around with it a little bit. Right now, I'm going to let the glue dry completely. That's 24 hours. Okay. It's going to need training at least 24 to 48 hours. At least 24, 48 is better. We definitely need to train those. Anyways, thank you for spending time with me today. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about this channel, and have yourself a really good day.